Good morning, students. Welcome to the class. We were discussing proton NMR spectroscopy. In this class, we will discuss coupling constant and some problems related to the proton NMR interpretation. What is a coupling constant? Coupling constant is indicated by J. Generally, it is the distance between two peaks in a simple multiplet. So when a multiplet is there, the distance between two peaks in a multiplet, it is called as coupling constant. It is measured in hertz, At the same time, it is independent of applied magnetic field. So that means coupling constant will not change if we change the applied magnetic field. So coupling constant is same when we do the we get the proton NMR spectra on a 60 megahertz instrument or a 300 megahertz instrument. So coupling constant is a constant irrespective of the applied magnetic field. It indicates how strongly the two interacting protons are coupled. It indicates how strongly the two interacting protons are coupled, or we can say the two interacting spin states, how they are coupled together. For example, we will take a simple multiplet, take a quartet. In this case, how do we measure coupling constant? The J value is nothing but the frequency difference between these two peaks, or the frequency difference between these two peaks, or the frequency difference between these two peaks. So it is the coupling constant value. How do we measure it? It is just the difference between the two peaks, any two successive peaks. For example, if you take a triplet, go for a doublet or a triplet. Now the coupling constant value is nothing but the difference in frequency between these two peaks. Of course, we know that the frequency of a signal will change when we change the applied magnetic field, but coupling constant will never change with change in applied magnetic field. The coupling constant between two protons which are cis to each other on a double bond, generally it is called three bond coupling, because between these two protons we have 1, 2, 3. So they are three bond distance away. So it is called a three bond coupling. We can say, we can also indicate the three bond coupling with the suffix. It is generally it is not required, but we can indicate that. Now for a cis protons, the coupling constant will be between 6 to 15 hertz. For a trans double bond, the protons which are related trans, this is again a three bond coupling, because it is these two protons are three bonds away from each other. Here the coupling constant is 11 to 18 hertz. So that means we will observe a strong coupling in case of trans protons than cis protons. Coupling between saturated carbons, still it is a 3 bond coupling, but it is less, just 6 to 8 hertz. Coupling between a proton on a double bond and allylic protons, coupling between proton on a double bond and allylic protons, it is again a 3 bond coupling, 1 2, and there is a bond between CH. The coupling constant value is 4 to 10 hertz, 4 to 10 hertz. And similarly, in cyclic systems, the coupling constant between these two protons is 8 to 11 hertz. The same coupling constant in a 5-membered ring between these two protons, it is 5 to 7 hertz. And when we look at the aromatic system, we have 3 different types of couplings. In the case of an aromatic system, we have ortho coupling, J ortho, we have meta coupling, J meta, and we also have para coupling, coupling between these two protons, it is J para. Ortho coupling is a 3 bond coupling. So the ortho coupling constant value is 6 to 10 hertz. In the aromatic compound, ortho protons are coupled strongly. The meta coupling is a 4 bond coupling. That means there are 4 bonds between these two hydrogens. It is a weak coupling, so its value is 2 to 3 hertz. And para coupling is a 5 bond coupling. Para coupling is the weakest among the aromatic couplings. Sometimes we may not observe coupling by para proton. So the J value for para coupling is 0 to 1 hertz. Similarly, for cyclic systems without double bond, we observe a cis coupling between 6 to 12 hertz, whereas we can also observe some trans coupling, but it is just 4 to 8 hertz. If the same ring, it is a part of heterocyclic system, then the coupling constants will further decrease. Cis coupling constant is between 2 to 5, whereas trans coupling constant is between 1 to 3. Apart from coupling, we also have multiplet skewing. Multiplet skewing is also useful to predict the interacting protons. Coupling constant is useful to predict the interacting protons. At the same time, multiplet skewing is useful to predict the interacting protons. Or imprecise, we can identify the interacting multiplets. So which multiplets are interacting with each other? Generally, a triplet looks like this with 1:2:1 intensity. But when multiplets are interacting with each other, we will observe an uneven intensity for one end. Uneven intensity, it is not 1:1, the two ends. When we draw a arrow, it will be like this. So that means it is an interacting multiplet, it is interacting with another multiplet. So the multiplet which is interacting with this, it will also show skewing. So that means, for example, if it is a doublet, it should have 1:1 intensity. But when it is a skewing multiplet, that means when it is interacting with other multiplet, its intensity will also increase. So they will show uneven intensity. See, these two must be 1:1 in a general triplet. But when this multiplet is interacting with this, one of the peak in the multiplet, it will have uneven intensity. That means its intensity will increase. Simultaneously, one of the peak in the other multiplet which is interacting with this, it will also show uneven intensity for one peak. So its intensity will also increase. As we know, doublet should be 1:1. It should give two peaks of 1:1 in ratio, right? But when it is a coupling, when it is interacting with a multiplet, because of skewing, it will show some jump in the intensity. So from this we can easily identify which multiplets are interacting, so that we can easily predict the structure of the molecule. Now we will practice some problems. Calculate the chemical shift in ppm for a proton that has a resonance at 128 Hz downfield from the TMS on a spectrometer that operates at 60 MHz. What will be the shift in hertz on the 120 MHz instrument? So we were asked to calculate delta chemical shift value, and in the second problem we were asked to calculate the frequency in 120 MHz instrument. So for the first problem, what is the formula? Chemical shift delta is equal to shift of compound frequency from reference by instrument frequency. So for the first problem, it was given shift 128 Hz and instrument frequency is 60 megahertz. So from this we can easily calculate the delta value 128 by 60 ppm. 128 by 60 ppm. You can simplify this. When we want to calculate the frequency, when the instrument is operated at 120 megahertz, now we want to calculate the frequency in an instrument which is operated at 120 megahertz. As we know, delta value is constant irrespective of the magnetic field. That means delta value will be 128 by 60 ppm in 120 megahertz instrument also. So delta value will be same here and here. Now if you want to know the frequency, what we can do? If we want to know the frequency, we just rearrange this. Chemical shift multiplied by instrument frequency, that will give the shift of compound frequency from the reference. So delta value is 128 by 60 ppm into compound frequency is 120 megahertz. So ppm and mega will get cancelled. So the difference 160. So you can calculate this. So this is how we can predict the delta value, and if you were asked to calculate the frequency which is operated at a different magnetic field. Next problem, what arrangement of protons would give two triplets of equal area? So we were asked to find out what is the structure of compound that result in the two triplets of equal area. So that means if this triplet is having x number of protons, then the second triplet should also have x number of protons. That means if this triplet is having one proton, it should also have one proton. If it has two protons, it should also have two protons. For our, we know that when this triplet will arise when we have two hydrogens on an alpha carbon. For example, for this proton, it is having two alpha protons, so it gives a triplet for this. So we will get a triplet for this. But for this, we will get a doublet because it is having only one alpha proton. So if you want to have a triplet here also, we should have two protons here also. So just make it 2. Then this carbon, these protons are having two alpha hydrogens. So 2 plus 1, 3, it gets a triplet. So if you want to have a two triplets with same intensities, it should be like this. It should give same intensity because the two triplets are raising because of the two protons. So we will get equal intensity. In the 400 MHz proton instrument, an organic compound exhibited a doublet. The two lines of the doublet are at delta 2.35 and 2.38 ppm. The coupling constant J value is given that delta 1 2.35 ppm, delta 2 2.38 ppm for a doublet. Doublet means it should be 1:1 intensity, the ratio of intensity of peaks. Right. What is the coupling constant? Coupling constant is nothing but the difference in frequencies between these two peaks. Now, how do we calculate the frequency? We weren't given frequency, we were given delta value. Okay. As in the case of previous problem, if you want to convert ppm into frequency, what we need to do? We need to multiply the chemical shift with instrument frequency. Here instrument is operated at 400 megahertz. So if you want to calculate the J value, what we will do? We will take the difference between these two peaks, chemical shift difference between these two peaks, highest value minus smaller value, multiplied by instrument frequency. Highest value, the chemical shift difference multiplied by instrument frequency. So the difference between chemical shift is 0.03, right? It is 0.38, it is 0.35, so 0.03, and it is 400 ppm, and it is 400 megahertz. So ppm and mega will get cancelled. 3 into 4, nothing but 12 hertz. So this is how we will calculate coupling constant when the delta values were given. Look at these examples. Work out the proton NMR spectra of the following compounds. Now, we will just look at the multiplicities only. Okay, right. this carbon is having bromine, this carbon is having two chlorines. Chlorine electronegativity is 3.5, sorry 3, bromine electronegativity is 2.8. So it is more electronegative atom, negative carbon, because there are two chlorines. So it will give, the proton here will show highest frequency or highest delta. The protons here will show low delta. So this proton will appear at a high delta, this proton will appear at a low delta among these two. Now this carbon, this proton, it is having two alpha protons, two alpha protons. So based on n plus 1 rule, it should give a triplet. It should give a triplet. Whereas these two protons, they have only one alpha proton, only one alpha proton. Based on 1 plus 1 rule, it should give a doublet. It should give a doublet. So the proton NMR spectrum must look like this, a triplet and a doublet. This triplet must be for one proton, this doublet must be for two protons. Okay, at the same time we can also expect the chemical shift values. Because it is attached to one bromine, bromine electronegativity is 2.8, so we can expect a delta value of 2.5 to 3 ppm for these two protons. Whereas this proton, it is on a carbon which is having two chlorines, chlorine electronegativity 3,336. So somewhere it will be between 4 to 5 ppm. Its delta value between 4 to 5 ppm. So this is how, when a compound is given, first we need to predict the order of frequencies. We will give A, B, C, D. Then we will predict the multiplicities, either doublet or triplet or quartet. Then we will also look at the possible delta values based on the electronegativity or hybridization or anisotropic effect. For example, look at this molecule. It is having three non-equivalent protons. It is having two non-equivalent. This carbon and this carbon, they are having same chemical environment. So this carbon and this carbon, they are chemically equivalent, whereas this carbon, it is chemically non-equivalent to these two. So we will get two signals here. How many? Two signals, right? These two protons will give one signal, this proton will give one signal. Now coming to this proton, first we will predict the order of frequencies. Because this proton is on a carbon where two chlorines are also present, whereas this proton, it is on a carbon where it is having only one chlorine. So because two chlorines will give more electronegativity, it will be observed at a delta, it will have high delta value A, whereas this proton will have low delta value B. Now coming to the multiplicity, this proton is having only one alpha proton. So according to 1 plus 1, n plus 1 rule, it is a doublet. Now look at this proton. It is having two alpha protons, one proton here, one proton here. So this carbon, this proton is having two alpha protons. So it will give a triplet, 2 plus 1. It will give a triplet. So when we look at the spectrum, highest chemical shift will be a doublet, lowest chemical shift will be a triplet. Okay, we can also predict the delta values. It will be between 4 to 5, it will be between 3 to 3.5. So we can also predict the delta values when we were given compounds. Now you just practice these problems. When you want to predict the spectra of this compound, this carbon is attached to iodine. whereas this methyl group and this methyl group, they are attached to an sp3 hybridized carbon. So due to inductive effect, this proton on this carbon, it will have high delta value, and of course these two are chemically equivalent, so they will give one signal, so with low delta value. Coming to the multiplicities, this proton, it is having 3 plus 3, 6 alpha hydrogens. So according to n plus 1 rule, it gives a septet, 6 plus 1, 7 septet. Whereas these methyl groups, they have only one alpha hydrogen, only one alpha hydrogen. So 1 plus 1 doublet. So that means this proton, single proton will give a septet. These 6 protons will give one signal, that is a doublet. Five, 6, 7. We can write a septet like this, then a doublet like this. Now, we can also predict the delta values because it is attached to iodine. The delta values will be between